Besides, you're saying it wrong. It's Leviosa, not Leviosa.
Let's get you out of here, Buzz.
Don't you get it? You see the hat? I am Mrs. Nesbit. Snap out of it, Buzz.
Look what I got. I got a jar of dirt. I got a jar of dirt. And guess what's inside it?
Taking my life, Usul. It is the only way.
I'm pointing the way.
I've really got to get you out of those clothes
Excuse me?
and into a black dress. Tell me, Doctor, do you like the circus?
Welcome back to GemFL Movie, a movie podcast where we talk about French movies that help shape a nation. That is right, we're back. My name is Corey, as always, with Cole and Zach here. And today we are talking about the French film Stranger Things. Is that correct? Stranger Things 5. And how that just helped to shape a nation. We are covering Stranger Things 5, the series finale, season 5. And that's what we'll be talking about today. So a movie franchise podcast that is starting their new season off by not talking about a movie or I guess it is a franchise. I guess it is a franchise.
They're doing spinoffs. I mean, we have the animated show coming out this summer.
I was going to say, I think
85.
one show doesn't make it a franchise, but I think because there's multiple, then it does make
Here's
it a franchise.
What makes it feel like a franchise, though, is it's just so the brand of it, like the inherent marketing that is involved in it, like how big they make it. It really does feel like a pop culture touchstone over the past decade. It's kind of like, I don't want to say defined pop culture for the past decade, because that would, I don't know what we could say did that, but I mean, the MCU has kind of fallen off in that regard in the latter few years. But
it feels like, it had the same cultural impact of a show like Game of Thrones, where we were salivating between seasons, clamoring for what's going to happen next.
I like your use of the word salivating. Well done.
I do think that this had more of a cultural impact because when this was coming out, I think it kind of led the charge of a lot of movies and shows that were coming out around this time, and it affected it welcomed a lot of parodies that it created.
It also really turned Netflix into the brand that Netflix has become. This was really their first big hit show, wasn't it? It was
probably something that kind of crossed multiple different age groups.
Probably their biggest one.
Yeah, this was
at the time. Orange is the New Black was really big.
Yeah, that was an early one.
Yeah.
But this is something different, though. This is more. This is more. I think 4-quadrant, if you will, in terms of put it into audience speak. Whereas Orange is the New Black, I think was definitely skewing more adult for sure.
Yeah.
It doesn't have that popcorn appeal,
Oh, definitely not. Yeah. Did you guys want to introduce yourselves? I kind of gave you a brief introduction.
Oh, I'm Zach.
Hey, what's up? I'm Cole.
Hey,
Cole, what's your favorite show?
That's tough. I always go back to that Nick Cage movie where he's Pedro Pascal's character asks him his favorite movie, and then he goes, "How can you pick just one?"
Try.
I mean, The Sopranos is probably one of my all-time favorite shows, but in terms of sitcoms, I mean, New Girl is up there.
All-time favorite.
Yeah, it's really tough to just reach out.
You like New Girl better than Community?
I go back to New Girl more than I do Community.
Interesting. Zach, do you have a favorite TV show? You're not a big TV guy.
No, you guys watch more TV than me for sure. I would say it probably is, the basic answer is probably Breaking Bad.
It's really,
I think Breaking Bad is still that, and it's hard to really divorce Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul in my head. So honestly, the kind of the amalgamation of those two together, it's just hard to beat, I think. And then if I had to deviate from that, I'd say Succession. But for comedies, it would be Always Sunny in South Park.
Corey?
For comedies, I think we're going to go Scrubs. It's just one of those shows I always go back to. Everyone kind of goes back to either Friends or The Office or something along those lines. I think Community is up there too, but Scrubs is my favorite one. I think it just caught me at the right time, and it's still really, really good. I was looking at a top 10 TV episodes of all time, and there's one episode in Scrubs that always kind of makes those types of lists, and I think that goes to the overall writing of the show.
That's the Brendan Fraser one, right?
Yeah.
My Mistake?
Yeah. That one's really, really well done. But I think in terms of like drama or like overall, I think overall still might be Scrubs. But if we're going drama, Zach, I think I might agree with you with Breaking Bad. Yeah,
It's
I
just
think
not
that
the most fun show to jump back into. Like, when I think of favorite show, I mean, that's the one I guess in my head I have to say is like the best. And now I want to clarify, I've not watched The Sopranos or The Wire. Those are two big ones I have not seen. You know, Twin Peaks is another one I'm sure I'd love if I got around to it. I will one day. But for the ones I've seen, Breaking Bad is just like in my head. I've watched it all the way through twice. And I think that is, in terms of like character arc, like extremely satisfying for multiple characters in that, not just Walter White. But like that from beginning to end, that is such a perfect story. I think. Not really a hot take here. I'm not really saying anything too profound, but I think in terms of ones that I could like, if you put me in the middle of a random episode, I think Succession is hard not to enjoy at any point, just because it's a drama, but it's a funny one. It's kind of moves. It's a snappier drama, if that makes sense. So
yeah, I think if you're locking in, you want something to like. You want a time commitment. That one's a good one where it's like, okay, I could start from the beginning and watch it, but it's not one where it's like, oh, I'm just going to go back and do a comfort show. It's I don't know if it's a comfort show by any means. Game of Thrones used to be that a little bit. I think it still technically is. I think I've gotten over my season 8 stuff. But then an honorable mention that I know you guys aren't going to answer, but this one is one of the best TV shows of all time. It wouldn't be a comedy for me, and I think Breaking Bad's a better drama. BoJack Horseman for a recent one. That one's so good.
I hear great things.
Yeah. But we don't have to go on to the whole. And I'm in the middle of watching Mad Men, which I heard is one of the top ones considered.
So that's one of the ones that came from a Sopranos writer. There have been so many shows like down the line, Boardwalk Empire, Mad Men. They've come from these like Sopranos writers who have left and gone on to create these big shows.
Interesting.
You know what's a more interesting version of this question, and this might be the version that I put front and center and leave in, because I think this is actually, favorite show, that's a good casual question, but like, what's your favorite season of TV when you think about it? Like, since we're here specifically talking about Stranger Things 5, and I did not prep you guys for this one, so I'll go first to give you a second. I think when I think of my favorite seasons of TV, the ones that pop into my head right away are True Detective Season 1. I think
that one's a really good one.
Fargo Season 2, the 70s, the one set in the 70s with Patrick Wilson and Kirsten Dunst and Jesse Plemons. That's incredible TV. And then it gets a little tougher after that. Maybe Haunting of Hill House. That's pretty up there for me.
In my mind too.
Have not watched that yet.
It's pretty great. I think it gets a little sappy at the end, but I think it earns it. So I think I'm a fan of that. That's probably my favorite Mike Flanagan thing. Mike Flanagan. He's got an Exorcist movie coming out with Scarlett Johansson next year. So those would be the ones I think of. Well, yeah, he produced that and maybe wrote it. I don't know, but yeah. I'll be curious about that as well. I'll be very curious about that, actually, honestly. But Cole, what's a favorite season of TV for you?
I do have to agree. True Detective Season 1 is just, God, I remember watching that like with you, and that was such a cool like watch that we had together. Zach also, I
think that was a shift. I think that was a really big shift in terms of I mean, obviously TV is always big, but like prestige TV, what we would call prestige TV now, getting those two actors, like big movie star actors, to like
that
co-lead a miniseries like that and have it be so good. And I think that I think that did shift to get more like, what we would call movie stars to like be more open to doing TV stuff. I think that was a big part. How good True Detective was.
Because it was originally, there was the whole, you did TV to get to movies, which is what Woody Harrelson originally did. But then, he came back to TV. I think him and McConaughey have a show coming out next year or something like that. It's like a sitcom about them like living together.
Cute.
Yeah, with their families, but they're living together.
Oh, so cute. Corey.
Gross. First thing that came to my mind was Avatar: The Last Airbender, Season 3. The finale of that. That one's very, very, very good. I won't give anything away then. If you haven't finished that,
I know.
That's it. Okay. I'm trying to think of what season of Game of Thrones that I was like, oh
4.
my gosh, is that
4 is yeah.
I was gonna say there
4
was
is
one.
when everything is at its peak. I think.
I was gonna say a lot of it's kind of hard to differentiate now.
I mean,
I can get the
2
general timeline.
is really good
Maybe
too.
2 has the Battle of Blackwater, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Great.
that one's really, really
top
good.
10 speeches in the history of television. There are brave men knocking at our doors. Let's go kill them. I mean,
That's pretty good.
So I think those are some of my favorites.
Blackwater's like a movie. Like, that was on TV. Like, I've kind of, like, after season 8 of Game of Thrones, I have not gone back and watched any of it at all, even though it was my favorite show for the longest time. And then when I was home, like, scrolling through channels, my parents still have, like, HBO, the channel, not, like, just HBO Max. Like, I'm just scrolling TV and they, like, the channel HBO, and it's, like, Blackwater was just starting when I was scrolling through. And I just, like, kind of slowly put the remote down and kind of tilted my head and watched it curiously. And I was, it just hooked me back in so quickly. I was like, God, this show was so good. Like, this was, like, perfect TV. Yeah, but, well, honestly, I would be surprised if this is the last time Game of Thrones is brought up on this episode. So if we don't have anything else, do we want to keep it pushing
into the call sheets?
Hello. You don't know me, but I know you. I want to play a game. There is only one key to open the device. It's in the stomach of your dead cellmate. You better hurry up. Live or die. Make your choice.
we're doing a call sheet.
I don't know why we send out this document if you don't look at it at all, Cole.
I did. I filled stuff out.
It says call sheet. It says have a summary.
You filled stuff out and deleted things. You deleted the part where I reminded you to write the summary.
And then once you closed it out, you completely forgot everything that it said on there because you were also not prepared to answer the season or favorite TV show.
Yeah,
I picked up that read. The call sheets. Moving on to the call sheet. We have a classic call sheet. Okay, we have 4 questions and a bonus question, and of course, the bonus question is closest to the pin. I think this season I'm going to try to keep it simple. I'm going to try to keep it simple yet effective. And so, starting that off on the right foot, we have 4 questions and a bonus. You guys are going to be texting me your answers, and then we're going to be moving on. So there are 4 questions, but there's a possibility of earning up to 6 points, okay? So keep that in mind. Are you guys ready?
Am I texting you?
You're texting the answers, yes. That is...
Let's do it.
Question number 1. Out of the first 4 seasons, 11 easily has the most screen time with 8 hours and 7 minutes. But who has the second most screen time with 6 hours and 21 minutes? Who has the second most screen time?
You looking for character or actor?
Either one. I can.
You can figure it out from there.
If you could also give me their height and weight, that'd be great. Okay, I have an answer from each of you. We're moving on to question number 2. Finn Wolfhard almost quit acting before getting Stranger Things when he was 12 years old. A little dramatic, but I guess he's an actor. But since then, he has done a lot of different shows and movies. What is his most popular movie on Letterboxd? His most popular movie on Letterboxd. I am positive.
Popular as in most watched or highest rated?
Highest rated. So it's the most popular, highest rated movie. Let me double check for you before you send in an answer. Sorry, 1 second. Okay, it's most popular. So it is going to be most watched. I apologize. Most popular. Corrected it before I asked you guys to send in your answers. I have an answer from Cole.
Okay. I'm gonna shit. I don't like this answer.
I have an answer from Zach. Moving on to question number 3. Joe Keery. I know. I corrected myself. Joe Keery. Sorry, now I'm all messed up. Joe Keery is just the most talented guy. There are really no ands, ifs, or buts about it. Did you guys know that he's a musician? Here's a chance to earn multiple points. Name up to 3 of his songs. You get a point for each song you name.
You get 2 and you're going to like it. That's what you're getting out of me.
You get 2 for me.
Checking.
Just one more tear to cry.
Okay.
Ooh, so
I have 2 from each of you. No one wants to try for a third? No? Okay. We are moving on. Both late addition ladies to the series, but both are beyond beloved by fans. Maya Hawke and Sadie Sink did another Netflix project together. What film trilogy were they both in on Netflix?
Trilogy. They appeared like in all 3 of them together, or like they're like they appeared at different times in a trilogy.
Both late addition ladies to the series, but both are beloved, beyond beloved by fans. Maya Hawke and Sadie Sink did another Netflix project together. What was the film trilogy?
Don't do that again.
3. I'm counting. We've come to the end. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we do have a winner, but we're going to go on to the bonus question, then we're going to go through the answers. Bonus, how many movies has Millie Bobby Brown been in since she first starred in Stranger Things Season 1?
She's been in like 50 Enola Holmes.
I'm looking for a number here.
Closest to the pin?
Closest to the pin. This is also according to Letterboxd.
She's been in so many Netflix movies.
Okay, we have someone who is closest to the pin, but it doesn't really matter because we had a winner in the regular season. Question number 1, out of the first 4 seasons, 11 easily has the most screen time with 8 hours and 7 minutes, but who has the second most screen time with 6 hours and 21 minutes? Zach, you said Hopper. Cole, you said Joyce Byers. The answer is Nancy Wheeler. Neither of you guys got a point.
I was just my second guess. Damn it.
I think Hopper was number 3 and Joyce was number 4. And I think all 3 of them were very close together.
I think Joyce took a big hit on the runtime in season 5. I think that really cut her down a lot.
Well,
she was
this was also up to season 4. This was cutting off at season 4.
Ooh.
It does. Finn Wolfhard almost quit acting before getting Stranger Things when he was 12 years old. Insane. But since then has been in a lot of different shows and movies. What is his most popular movie on Letterboxd? Meaning, what is his most... Cole, you said It. Zach, you said It Chapter 2. The correct answer is It. Cole, that is 1 point for you. Zach, you still have 0. Moving on to...
the Joe Keery.
Moving on to question number 3. Joe Keery is just the most talented guy. There really are no ands, ifs, or buts about it. Did you guys know that he's also a musician? Here's a chance to earn multiple points. Name up to 3 of his songs. You can earn up to 3 points. Zach, you gave me 2, and Cole, you guys gave me the same 2, End of Beginning and Charlie's Garden. So that's
I told
2
him
points.
to listen to that.
So
God damn it.
That's 2 points for both of you. We would have also accepted Basic, which is his current really big hit. So that is 3-2 in favor of Cole. Moving on to the last question.
Damn.
Both late addition ladies to this series, but both are beyond beloved by fans. Maya Hawke and Sadie Sink did another Netflix project together. What was the film trilogy? It was Fear Street. You guys both gave me that answer, and so that was a point for each of you. That means Cole wins. Zach, do you know which one Maya Hawke was in?
She was in the first one. She was in 94.
She was in the first one.
She was the opening scene.
Shit, that is 100% correct. And then Sadie Sink, of course, was the main actress in the second one.
This is my favorite of the 3.
The second one?
The 8 or 9, whatever year it was. The 70s one.
70s. I thought it was like 77.
That one is good. It doesn't matter. We're over it. But on to the bonus. Cole, you won, but on to the bonus. Here we go. How many movies has Millie Bobby Brown been in since she was first in Stranger Things? Cole, you said 20 in 10 years. Zach, you said 9. The correct answer is 8, according to Letterboxd. So she's only been in 2 Enola Holmes movies. There's a third one coming up this year. But
once Cole said that, I was like, I don't know if that's...
She's been in 50 of those. And then The Electric State she was in, and Damsel she was in.
She has 2 Godzilla movies.
2 Godzilla movies. And then there was another one. I can't remember the name. It was smaller. It was towards the beginning of her career. And then... I can't remember the last one. Maybe that was all of them. Anyway, congratulations, Cole. You're starting this season off with a bang. You are leading so far in, what do we call this? This is season 5? No, this is season 4. Season 4 trivia score. Cole starts off with 1 point and Zach, no point.
Oh, you're going to start keeping track now? It's a
gonna
dangerous
keep-
game. Cole,
I'm gonna
I
keep
would
track.
love to keep track, Cole. You want to keep
I
track, Cole?
don't
Please take it.
want
Start with
to.
1-0, Cole. I beg you to keep track.
Why are you getting mad at me?
I'm
I'm
keeping
not
track
Corey
this season. No, because I have
choosing to do
an
this.
idea. I have a full season idea, and I wanted to keep track this year.
I'm
I
excited.
told you
I'm
guys a little bit
glad.
about it, but it's
Give
not
Cole
going
2
to
to
really. We're
start.
not going to really benefit from it until the very
He's
end.
being
But
so mean.
we start at the very beginning. The best place to start. No, there's a song about it. Anyway, on to the action.
Even the opening scene, there's always some random girl who gets a call that undoubtedly ends up getting her killed. It's also predictable. There's no element of surprise. You can see everything coming.
Did that surprise you?
Why?
Because you talk too much. Now shut the fuck up and watch the movie.
This is usually the part of the episode where someone gives a summary.
Zach, can I tell you something? Can I confide in you? Please. I didn't watch it. I was going to start this season off better, but I just didn't watch this show. And I was really hoping someone was going to summarize it.
I'm shamed. I am shamed.
Hope you guys all watched it if you're listening. I mean, here's the thing is, if gun to my head, I don't know if I could even give you a really accurate description of what happens in this season off the top of my head.
Because a lot happens.
There's a lot going on here. I think, man, I'd have to look at like a character chart and then kind of remember like, okay, they did this in the first couple episodes and then while they were doing this, and then I could kind of piece it together from there. But the general vibe of it is 18 months after, I think it was 18 months after.
Something like that.
That great cliffhanger at the end of season 4 where the Upside Down opens up and the red smoke goes into the sky and it's like, uh-oh, okay, we're in the end game now. It's apocalyptic. I wonder what they're going to do right now. We cut forward 18 months and life is just back to normal-ish. They're under quarantine, but they just kind of put some metal over the hole in the ground. That felt like a bit of a letdown, I think. And I think it might be a product of them taking so much time between seasons that they couldn't just pick up right there. But that was kind of made that cliffhanger at the end of 4 a little underwhelming in hindsight. And I think in general, season 5 does not make me like season 4 more. I think it kind of, the stuff that I was excited about with season 4, it kind of, the payoffs here are not, they're less than what I could picture in my head.
Let's start there.
So,
I like that. I like that jumping off point, Zach. What were you excited about ending season 4? Like season 4 ends, you're like, wow, I cannot wait for XYZ in season 5. Go.
Well, in terms of plot points, I was excited for more Vecna stuff, but
yes,
kind of the Vecna stuff that we got in season 4, which was like him kind of being creepy and getting into people's dreams and breaking arms and making their eyes explode and all that stuff. And because I thought putting a fate, like an actual character to be the villain of the show, not just the mind flayer, like a vague spider shadow thing. I thought that was a really good choice. And I think that just made it feel so much more fresh at that point in season 4 and gave it a whole new feel. And I felt like we were aging up the show, like with the characters. And then I kind of feel like this was a reversal back, like kind of an infantilizing in this season, coming off of season 4 and how dark season 4 could get. It felt like this was much safer. Maybe it's because we're focusing so much on Holly Wheeler and all the other little playground kids. But it felt like we kind of did a reversal when we should be getting darker as we go. You know, it's like if Deathly Hallows, coming off of Half-Blood Prince and how dark Half-Blood Prince is by the end, if Deathly Hallows reverted back to Chamber of Secrets style for the finale, that's what this kind of felt like to me.
You think
so?
You think it went?
That was a bit of a letdown.
Like that.
What'd you say?
I think Zach has a point. It didn't go all the way back, but when you focus on the child aspect of it, you are kind of reverting back to your old plot points. And, you know, I think the use of A Wrinkle in Time to like tell Holly's story, like the connection there, you get a lighter tone. And you know, that does feel like we're moving backwards. We're not moving forwards in terms of what we can do at this moment.
It felt like I mean, the Wrinkle in Time stuff, I'm kind of over the whole, and a lot of shows do this, and I think I'm just kind of at my limit with it. The exploring memories thing, or let's walk through flashbacks thing. A lot of shows have done it, and I think it's just kind of a lazy way to just kind of reveal things about character at this point. So that being a structure for a lot of the season, that was kind of annoying. But I mean, like, think about like season 4, like you have like Max, Sadie Sink's Max get like, for the whole time she's trying to get away from Vecna and thinking that she's going to be like the 4th victim, getting raised into the air, arms broken, eyes blooded, whatever. And he does eventually get her and almost kills her. And, you know, you also have Eddie Munson, you know, spoilers for season 4, obviously, but like Eddie Munson getting eaten by bats, you know, the Victor Creel background stuff, all of that felt a lot more engaging to me than just what we're doing with Vecna here. And I think maybe I misunderstood what the lore that we were establishing in season 4 was, but it really made it feel like, okay, we made it clear Vecna's behind us all. And usually I don't like that when we're like, actually, this was this person behind it all, like with Spectre or something, or Scream 3. I liked it in season 4 because it really kind of made everything feel kind of neatly tied up, and all we needed was resolution. Like, I didn't think there was anything I didn't know yet, and yet season 5 still felt the need to keep explaining things to the point where, like, well, now I don't like it. I liked, my impression coming off of season 4 was, we have all these kids with powers grouped together. They're studying them. They're going to use them for whatever. And Henry, picks 11. Eleven's going to be his ally. They're going to try to get out or whatever. He kills all of them. And then 11 gets so upset that she uses her powers to the full maximum extent for the first time and literally tears open the fabric of our world and sends Henry into this other world, which is, in my head, was, some version of the Upside Down. Apparently what we saw him go to in season 4 was this other place, the Abyss or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then we felt the need to keep complicating that. Like, we show this background with Henry going into, he's scared of a cave, and this big this big murderer is so scared of this memory where he gets shot in the hand. And it's like, I get that that's that's when he inherited his powers or whatever, but even that felt like we were setting up like a backdoor prequel with that stuff, like with the guy with the suitcase.
I mean, the Duffers did say the Rock is important to the spinoff, but go on.
See, that shit pisses me off. Let's just wrap up. If you're just wrap up the show, I don't know. I mean, that it just felt like we had the pieces in the place that we needed for the grand finale, and then we just kind of spread them all out again and started throwing different breadcrumbs in different directions. And now I'm not. I always felt more satisfied with I would have felt more satisfied with season 3 being the end of the show, with the way that ends, with some characters moving away and the mind flayers dead, or quote unquote whatever. Hopper dead. That would have been a fine way to end the show than I do coming off of season 5. But I think a lot of it is just the writing and style of where we are now. I mean, we got too quippy. We got too many characters here that are everyone's a superhero kind of version of themselves now. I mean,
I don't think
that
brings me to necessarily true.
Will, I mean, Will.
Let me give you one example.
And Will being.
I don't mean that. That part's actually fine for me. I actually kind of love that
really
part.
enjoyed what they did with Will's character.
Okay, I'm going to say this part, and then I want to give the floor away because I've been ranting a lot to start.
No, you're okay. I think you've been making
Nancy Wheeler, season 1. Mm-hmm. She is, kind of the prissy, perfect high school girl, gets good grades. She's worried about boys or whatever, and then she loses her friend Barb, and the rest of her season is about trying to figure out what happened to Barb. And she's a student journalist, and that's maybe she has 1 or 2 scenes with Jonathan practicing shooting cans with his gun or whatever gun they got. I think that's season 1. There's a part in season 5 where they drive through a military gate and into a place full of soldiers. Mm-hmm. Nancy Wheeler pops out of the top with a machine gun and starts taking out multiple soldiers, ending lives, killing people. Like she's John Wick. And
so hot.
You just don't mention it after that. She's been, this is okay. We've lost the reality, the groundedness of the characters. Because, it was always a supernatural show, but the characters felt grounded in this extraordinary situation. And that's why I think the appeal is in season 1 and 2. And now at this point, it's everyone is just so overwhelmingly capable and blasé about all this crazy stuff, all these crazy plans that they're hatching, and just how ridiculous everything is going on. And it's just I'm just kind of numb to it at a certain point, and it doesn't feel like we're dealing with the same real characters that we were. Do you remember when Hopper was just a fat police chief who chain smoked and was sad about his daughter and lived in a trailer, and now he's taking out SWAT teams?
Well, he lived in a cabin. But
whatever. You know what I mean? I mean, well, at first it was just a trailer. I think he moved in the cabin later, but he was in a trailer park at first, wasn't he?
No,
he was
in season 1.
He was always in that cabin.
No, he was not always in that cabin. They moved into that cabin.
No, he had a cabin house thing on the lake. He was bringing his ladies of the night there.
Yeah, but this cabin that they live in is different. That's something they just moved into, because you see them busting open the door and starting to clean up and rebuild it.
I don't know. Does this, I guess, comparing season 5 to season 1, how do you feel like we're still, and do you guys buy season 5 from season 1, both plot wise, character wise, where we are now? But
you know what? I do think I buy it. I there is quite a stretch that they're taking through all, specifically with the Nancy Wheeler stuff, her coming in and just starting to shoot everyone with a machine gun. That is quite the jump. But you also see that their entire town has turned very militaristic, and in the last season and the season before, they have gone into the Upside Down and she's starting to shoot these things and shoot, like knowing that it is danger. I understand that it's not like the exact same one for one because these are people and those other things are just like weird Demogorgon bats or whatever they are, or just Demogorgons in general. But I think the brutality of the previous seasons has kind of led up to where I was able to suspend my disbelief a bit with that in particular, and it didn't necessarily bother me. I did think that at the very end, I was like, okay, they can all just go back to their normal lives now. It's like, well, now the gate's closed. They can't really do anything.
Yeah.
I played it.
She killed a lot of people and she's just like walking around like there was no consequences for any of them for any of the stuff they were doing.
I did think that was a bit much.
Hopper's gonna be a police chief again. He's gonna
not only have
he's murdered people, he's killed a lot of people,
and he's been
government
presumed
officials
dead for years.
Yeah.
And he's offered a promotion. So I will say, I think that's where most of my issues come from, was from the very end after the portal closes. Not necessarily with how they wrapped, like when Mike is telling the story at the very end. I actually really enjoyed that part. I was like, oh my gosh,
I cried.
Yeah, I was getting a little bit emotional there. But like before that, like after the portal closes and before that, I was like, okay, I don't know if this is necessarily believable. I think you probably could have not addressed some of that, and that would have been your way of addressing it. Like maybe just stop talking about it, because I don't think we needed to see Joyce and Hopper getting married or getting engaged. I don't know if I did kind of like having that last scene with all four of the older high school kids that are now
teens.
Well,
the teens that are now college people.
Well, now that are all like 30 years old, like having all of them have a scene together. I thought it was kind of needed, but I don't know. It just felt like the consequences at the very end were very minimal to non-existing at all. And throughout the series, there has been consequences. So I feel like they were kind of missing that aspect. Maybe not in season 1. I don't know if there were necessarily, Barb died. But I was thinking towards the end of season 1, when she's like, when Eleven's sacrificing herself, she just comes back, It's not even that big of a deal. It's like, oh, well, she just literally was in the hallway across this, like in the next hallway when he was crying about it. So that part did bother me. I did think it was an odd choice about Holly. I'm trying to hit on as many points as you were talking about, Zach, but without like dwelling too much, because I think some of them were spot on. But I mean, to be honest, not all of them bothered me, because I think I've been so ingrained in the show, and I was really, really looking forward to Stranger Things 5, that overall it didn't necessarily disappoint. Like, because I don't think anyone had like a bad ending. Nothing like didn't make sense. Okay, well, make sense is kind of a stretch, but like for character endings, I wasn't like, what, when we were talking about like how season 8 Game of Thrones is going to be brought up a lot during this episode, and I want to be the first one to bring it up. But when Bran is made king, not to spoil season 8 of Game of Thrones, but when Bran is made king, you're just like,
not to spoil it. What do you mean?
Corey,
what do you mean not to spoil
the Game
it?
of Thrones. Bran won the Game of Thrones.
It was revealed who won the Game of Thrones. Not to spoil it. What do you mean not to spoil it?
Step back. Without spoiling it, no, I have to spoil it. Spoilers for Game of Thrones season 8. There it is. There you get that. I'll cut out the rest. Spoilers for Game of Thrones season 8. When Bran is made king, everyone's just like, what? That doesn't make any sense, But like,
who has a better story than Bran?
And why he was able to make the decision. I was like, he's a prisoner. Why are you letting him run this meeting? But in this series, I felt like everyone's place kind of made more sense. Yes, they didn't all get the consequences that they deserved, but I think you can kind of headcanon it away with, this was like a secret military operation. And if you they understood that it was dangerous, and if you
they had a town under quarantine. That was not a secret. There's no way this was a secret.
Even the people in the town didn't know what was going on. They were keeping it a secret. So I think trying to, again, headcanon
you have
away.
to think the level
Just say that.
of
Just say you don't have to
education.
explain. There's no way you can explain that away. You can just be like, it didn't bother me much, but there's no explaining it away.
Okay, maybe it's just that it didn't bother me enough. I thought that was enough to say, like, okay, maybe. Not saying that settled it for me, but I think in the general sense, it didn't bother me too much. I will say some of the issues I've seen about this series, on that, to the Hopper thing, which the Hopper thing I have nothing for, besides like, oh, maybe it was quite the time jump after they closed the portal and he's been back for a while and he's just done great work cleaning up the town and other people have seen how great he's done. I don't know. Again, that's not even what I was thinking. That's just like, maybe that's what was going on.
Maybe
I don't
killed
really have
the current sheriff.
I don't really have an explanation for it, and it does bother me. So I was just saying, like, maybe that was their thinking about it. I'm not saying it's right, wrong, or anything like that. But the other big one I've seen was in the final fight. Two big ones. Will's speech in the final fight. Which one do you guys think was longer?
Will's speech.
It was Will's speech was longer than the final fight. And we can get into Will's speech a little bit later because Zach has some hot takes about it. But with the final fight, one of the big ones I saw, one of the big issues I saw was like, where are all the Demogorgons? Where are all this stuff? Like, how come it's just this big spider thing versus all of them and none of the Demogorgons? And I did see an explanation that I actually really liked.
Which is like they like combine.
Yeah, it was like, as we saw in season 3 in the mall, when all the bodies are kind of morphed into making this big spider thing in the mall. That's what this was.
Why are we having to do this? Why are we having to write this in?
But that's the issue. That is the issue. If it's just once, like if it's just with that, I can get over it. And like, no, they showed us in season 3, like that's, you got like continuity, keeping things consistent. But I think because we're talking about it along with other things, that's why it is an issue that we're talking about it and we're trying to figure it out. But if it was just that, I don't think it would be that much of an issue because I think that one's more clearly explained away. Other things I liked, I thought a lot of the characters throughout the season, especially before the first break that they took, because they released it in 4 episodes, 2 episodes, 1 episode. Is that right, Cole?
They co-opted our holidays, yes.
They co-opted our holidays.
Yeah, it was 4-3-1.
4-3-1. Okay. So the first 4, I was a fan of Will getting the powers. I was a fan of Mike in this season for the first time because Mike, season 1, season 2, I thought he was fun. Even season 3, I think that's where he started to stumble a bit. But like,
I remember having this conversation with Zach about season 4, and it's like Will gives this speech to him about how Mike's like the heart of the group. And it's
cringy
because Mike had nothing to do in season 4. He legitimately had nothing to do. He progressively got less and less to do. And I feel like the Duffers this season were like, okay, we gotta make up for that.
Make up for lost time.
Because it's either pining for Elle, fucking up his relationship with Elle, pining for Elle. I mean, the dude.
I think that gets into my last point here, and then Cole, I can hand it over to you, and we can start going through the topics we wanted to talk about. It's already very crowded. Season 4, Mike didn't have too much to do. Season 4, Joyce didn't really have that much to do either. Is that right?
Her thing is just, she's rescuing Hopper. That's her.
Was that season 4?
Hopper from Russia.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, season 3. Okay, yes. Okay. So maybe I take it back.
She had something to do. It's just a matter of, do you like that storyline?
Right.
So, I mean, it's...
You're right. This season, season 4, Mike did not have much to do. Season 5, Winona Ryder basically disappeared. Like, I don't remember much of what she did at all in this season, which is an issue for one reason and one reason alone. I understand having an ensemble of a lot of talented actors all playing interesting characters. That's fine. But when you have a season where one of your main characters just had to take a back seat because you had so much else going on, you cannot introduce a new main character like Holly and give her so much screen time and take so much screen time away from probably main character season 1. Would you say she's the main character?
She was the main character.
Probably.
I mean,
exactly. And when
she was nominated for what, best lead actress at the Emmys,
and so that's my big issue. That was the one I wrote down. And along with some internet gripes that I've seen that I mentioned. But that was my big issue, is that they introduced a main character in this season and took away screen time from your season 1 main character. And I don't know what that was.
What's all this then?
But Cole, you're still going strong. So if we want to wait for Zach, you can go in the meantime.
I mean, I feel like I've just been adding. You guys have been hitting all the gripes. I will say this. A lot of the stuff, it's like you said, I can headcanon it away. the spider thing, or like everyone's like, when did the military just leave Hawkins? And I'm like, right after they realized they had nothing to do. I mean,
Yeah.
you can think of this in your own mind and explain it away. I will say it has been pissing me off that a lot of this stuff, the duffers have just come out and been like, oh, that happened off screen, this happened off screen. No, because that epilogue was 45 minutes. I loved it. I thought it was the perfect way to end the show because as we're saying goodbye to Hawkins, we're kind of saying goodbye to our childhood. But at the same time, like Netflix did what they did this right. I think Game of Thrones did it wrong. They were given like all the time, this huge budget, and the Duffers took the time to like lead us out of Hawkins, which I think is a great thing. I really appreciated it. But at the same time,
lead us out of Hawkins. What do you mean?
Like they let us say goodbye. They did their best at creating this way of just like being like, this is a farewell. This is final. We're not coming back here. Like life is going to go on, but we're not coming back here. But at the same time, it's like, okay, maybe show the military leaving. I feel like that's this big question mark, because what the fuck was Linda Hamilton doing this entire, like, she was a caricature. She was not a character. She was evil military person number 5, and all of her dialogue, I hate to say this because I love her as an actress, but she was so forgettable in this season of TV. If you have Sarah Connor, use Sarah Connor. Like, I think that is probably my most legitimate, like, problem with this season. Yeah, because I'm kind of okay. The characters are becoming more adults. So it makes sense. Joyce is going to take a back seat. You can write that a little better. But focusing on Holly was something I genuinely did like, because it's no longer like it's about saying goodbye to childhood. I can kind of go on about this for a while, but it's about saying goodbye to childhood. And in that sense, we're saying like, okay, there's somebody new who's experiencing the wonder of this world. And Holly was kind of the perfect way to do that. And that's why I was kind of okay with it. Because also, I thought the actress who played Holly, phenomenal young actress.
Yes.
I mean,
yes. I don't think there's any argument about that. My issue is that if you're judging like who had more screen time, 11 or Holly, who do you think had more screen time?
Holly.
It's close. I don't have that number off the top of my head, but it's like way closer than it should be.
Yeah.
There's a chance Holly has the most screen time this season. There's a real chance that was the case.
It was very much her season. Maybe if you are going to make her the center of this season, do more in the past seasons to make her feel more important.
Yeah.
I don't think this was their plan. I think they lie and say that this was all planned out. I don't think they're always planning to make it a Holly Wheeler season at season 5, because then maybe what you're saying, like, Cole, would have been the case. They were not. This was not always the plan for Holly Wheeler to be so paramount to the final season of the show.
Zach, I mean, I said, like, my biggest problem was the Duffers doing the dumb thing of, this happened off screen. Hopper mourned off screen, which I think Hopper not mourning 11 was a whole like thing that I had to like be like, okay, why isn't he doing this? But at the same time, I also have to be like, the speech he gives Mike kind of sums that up in the best way, which is like, you just got to keep living. But at the same time, it's like, dude, that was your daughter, like your surrogate daughter, like
It's also been 18 months, and I'm not saying like, oh, there's a time period for mourning. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that, maybe through that time, it shows like people can heal. And I think I think that's also an important message. And now he is helping someone else heal because he's been through this. This is the second time he's lost a daughter, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm not saying like second time, I'm not saying it gets easier by any means, but I'm saying you learn something and like you're able to grow as a person more as time progresses and as you go through those things. And I think him not like mourning and the like
In the normal
in the normal
yeah.
sense, and instead of like using his experience to help Mike, I thought that was him more. He's like it. They're all still mourning. It just takes different forms.
Yeah, and
I'm not
I
worried
also
about that at all.
I was also okay with it because, I mean, there's that whole letter he wrote in like season 3 about how he was like stuck in this cave after his daughter died, and Elle was like the light that led him out of that cave, which I think is one of my top, like, it's one of my favorite moments of the series when like they do that letter. But I genuinely, I didn't have as many problems because I do realize we're in an era of television where, you know, I think we were kind of gifted with a Breaking Bad finale that wasn't like, Vince Gilligan didn't make it super bombastic. Better Call Saul, it was about this like emotional journey Jimmy McGill's going on, and how like it all comes back to like that, and it doesn't have to be this big thing. The Sopranos finale, for as much shit
don't
as
you
it
spoil
gets,
it. Don't you spoil it.
it wasn't a big thing. It wasn't a big thing. And I think we're in an era of television with shows like this where there is a requirement to make them bigger and bigger and bigger. And I think that is what this suffers from. You can't have a small, intimate story like 3 kids and this little psychic girl looking for their friend anymore, because that's not where the world's at anymore. The world's getting bigger. Finale's going to be bigger. We are going to lose some of the things we love due to this whole standard of television that we have, but that's okay, because I think the finished product for me worked to the point where I am able to forgive the shortcomings because I was so happy with the
I think easily my least or my favorite part of the entire season was that 40-minute coda after the big finale, mainly because we actually have characters talking with each other and not explaining things to each other, which is what 90% of the dialogue is for the first, like, you know, the entire season. Pretty much it is a lot of explaining a very complicated plot mechanics.
Things are
usually
confusing
with items that they can illustrate, like this is this, and then this Pringles can is this, here's us here, and they get another thing. I think that happens like 6 or 7 times. So there is a lot of that.
They give Steve Harrington a moment to do it too, and I love that.
No, I don't, because every single time it's just this is going to be a bit of a long-winded explanation of why I don't like this season much, especially compared to previous seasons. What works about season 1? Corey, you mentioned Winona Ryder's the main character of season 1. She is. She's a protagonist. That's why I think season 1, spoilers, like my favorite season. It's a show that adults can watch. Kids can watch it, but in the same way that kids could watch, you know, more adult movies from the 80s, like Poltergeist or Temple of Doom, like these movies that were dark, but like there was an edge to it, but like, you know, kids could watch it. That's what Stranger Things season 1 felt like. And it was harkening back to those like properties from the 80s, like Poltergeist, E.T., Goonies, you know, which is a little more kid oriented, but Stand By Me, those kind of coming of age genre movies that, and I think the main thing is there, like it's about you're focused on the characters, and it's like, you know, we're putting these guys in extraordinary circumstances, but you still relate to the friendships there, the relationships there. Even E.T., which is about a kid hiding an alien with his siblings, you still have glimpses into the mom's life, played by Dee Wallace, and how the divorce is affecting her too, that the family is going through. So it's an adult movie for kids, or a kids movie for adults, you know, whichever way you want to look at it. And that's what season 1 nails, and it kind of borrows from all these things and borrows from enough different things so that it's not like ripping off any one thing. And it's small scale, and you're focused a lot on character. Season 2, we're kind of doing season 1 again. You know, we're adding a bit of like The Exorcist in there and like Gremlins a bit, but like
Aliens.
like that stuff. Yeah, I mean, that stuff still works. Season 3 is when we start to shift toward more bigger blockbustery looks with like the summer stuff and the mall. But again, we're still very character focused. We still have just the relationships with each other, and we're not overwhelming us with plot, is what I'm trying to say. And the season 4 is when things got really big. And I think why I was a big fan of season 4, like I really loved season 4 when it came out, is because there was a lot going on, but you know, I didn't have a problem with the length because that length allowed you to have the character moments there. And now maybe our cast is too big, so we do have like characters like Mike not having enough to do, and the Russia stuff, we can poke holes on that all we want. But I think that's why I didn't have a negative reaction to season 4 at all. I was a big fan of it. And I think by now we are just so burdened with big plot and explaining it that there really are no character moments. And the few that we get stand out so strongly because we just don't get
Nancy and Jonathan's breakup.
I wrote that down, that is one of the best scenes of the season. Because it's the only dialogues where they're not talking about, okay, we have to do this and Vecna's going to do this and we're going to do this. It's just characters talking about, like, talking to each other. And, like, it's an honest relationship in that sense. Like, there's another, like, Steve and Dustin. Like, Dustin, the jealousy that Steve has for Dustin's mourning for Eddie and all that. Like, that scene worked really well in their fight. I don't need them actually, like, throwing hands. That was a bit much just to break the antenna. That's that plot device. But, like, the conversation itself, that I really enjoyed that scene. Max, when Max wakes up from the coma and it's just Lucas there, that's another really great moment. And then of course, then I'm kind of reminded of like kind of how silly we are now, where like, who else is there? Mike's mom, because she just came out of her thing and like blew up something. It's like, yeah, God. It's like, so it's like it's crowded, and it is a result of we don't kill our characters, because we're so precious about preserving that everything's perfectness in our friendships and our relationships. And yet we don't even get it. I don't know. It ends up being the downfall, I think, in season 5, especially like because Mike's parents, that one of the best scenes is that opening of episode 2 with the Demogorgon. That made Demogorgon scary again. Demogorgons are not scary at all in this entire season, except that one scene where it takes Holly, mainly because I'm actually scared for these characters. I'm like, wow, they might actually kill Mrs. Wheeler here.
Get away from my daughter.
And then they're both alive, and it's like, well, yeah, I guess we can't kill them because then the characters will be, we've got to keep the plot moving, and we can't give them time to be sad about their parents dying. So we just got to keep the plot moving.
I saw this interview too where it's like, why didn't they visit Ted in the hospital?
Because Ted sucks. Like, they were hoping he was dead.
And that was like the Duffers were like, and I think they tried to explain it away as a joke, but they're like, yeah, at this point the kids don't really care about Ted, so we're just not
stop that stuff. That's kind of a big problem for me there. I mean, here's a great way to sum it up for what I was trying to get at by going through season by season. I think season 1 is made for fans of those 80s properties, and it's it references them, but it's still its own thing. It makes you feel like those things, even though like I didn't grow up in the 80s, but you could still relate to what you're watching too, because like you have a group of friends as kids, and at the end of the day, that's the precedent. Like you had like the childhood thing, Cole, that you're talking about. Like it's about losing childhood. It doesn't matter if you weren't in the 80s or not. It's a universal thing that everyone goes through, and it's just kind of, it captures that feeling that those movies had, those original 80s movies. Season 4 and then especially 5. That's why I still like 4, because it really felt like this in 5. Season 5 is not for fans of those old movies. Season 5 is for fans of Stranger Things 1 through 4, if that makes sense. And we're catering to fans and fan expectations, and we've lost sight of the groundedness and like the character relationships that made it so good to begin with. The small town mystery in season 1 is we're now on another planet by the end, fighting a giant spider monster with guns and like flamethrowers.
When you say it like that.
Right. Well, that's what it was. I think that's okay. I mean, the 80s are my favorite decade of like movies and pop culture, because I think we've moved into like we're modern enough to where like like special effects and the practical natures and of making crazy genre stuff, and like they're finally there to do like space in cool ways and to like make creatures in really cool ways, not just a guy in a suit. So like we're at that level then, but we're not also still making really original stuff, and we're not obsessed with IP like we are now. So, and I think that's what it is those original one or 2, 3 seasons feel like that 80s feel, and then these new ones feel very commodified, like versions of the pop culture now, like the brand Stranger Things now. It feels, I mean, and I say 4 and 5, but really 5, I think, and that's what it feels like. And this is kind of to put a button on what I'm talking about. Like, so the 80s, I looked up the top 50 highest grossing movies of the 80s. Take a guess how many of them are IP, like were based on previous IP of the top 50 grossing movies of the 80s.
5.
It's higher than that.
15?
16. 16 of the 50 were based on IP. Now, the 2020s, take a guess how many of the top 50 highest grossing movies are based off of previous IP.
I'm going to say 46.
32.
It's 45.
Shit. Oh my God, I'm the man.
Yeah,
and
now, you went over, so you busted.
Right. So
And
watch
I'll
this.
bust
Watch
you.
this
And
part
I
with fun
won.
with numbers.
Baby.
Four of those five.
One.
Yeah, that was bad. 4 of those 5 are like Chinese movies. So this is not even Hollywood itself. Like has only made 1 movie.
So what
that is
you're
in the top.
saying is
No, I'm focusing on Hollywood. No, those are
is-
real movies, obviously, and they make a lot of money. I'm just saying Hollywood specifically, like, because that's not Hollywood. That's a whole different, studio system. Hollywood has only made 1 movie that has made the top 50 that's not based off a previous IP. And do you know what it was? You want to take a guess? Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer is the only one in the top 50 of the 2020s that wasn't based off an IP made by, like, the traditional Hollywood system. So that just tells you where we are now, and that's what
it
Stranger
was
Things
based
4
off
and 5.
a book.
Well, okay, then none. Then none. So even
It's
that's
based off
what
the
Stranger-
book American Prometheus.
I'm just saying we lost that ingenuity that like kind of like I don't know, that really kind of felt like it was injected into Stranger Things, like season 1 and 2 and 3 or whatever.
But it's basing itself off this thing that you're saying is the issue, where you're saying like all these things are based off previous IP, and all those first few seasons, not necessarily based on IP, but like the entire structure of the first season is based around Dungeons and Dragons, which is inherently not original. It's
Okay,
based
then,
on an entire
alright.
book, and like when they're doing the mall thing, I think they're looking at Star Wars and everything, so they're basing their popular, like, I think they're going back and grabbing this previous IP and trying to, like, not to say like member berries, but like going back to that as well, because I think South
Well,
Park kind of
yeah.
hit it on the head with that, where
They
that people
did.
just love to remember. And so I think the fact that so many of the top 50, none of them made it into the traditional Hollywood system, basically, besides Oppenheimer, unless you count that it was based off a book. I think going back to that, this is kind of also a product of that, because all of its stuff is like references to previous IP.
I think it contributed to it. I think because like you were saying, Corey, I think Stranger Things came in right 1 year after Force Awakens.
Mm-hmm.
And those, like, these are 2 big nostalgia bait properties.
Yeah.
And I think they really made people want to start rebooting everything. And I think Stranger Things is the cause and not the symptom. You know what I mean? I think we're in the era now. Why? Because I mean, not like solely to blame. I just think like
I think it was the biggest thing to lead to it before or after Force Awakens. It's like when a new song comes out and the style of music, it's basically disco, right? That's how I feel about like the nostalgia factor Stranger Things caused.
Sure. I think my main point I was trying to make with like comparing the decades, like, or like the box office now, is like I feel like the Stranger Things felt like those movies then originally, and now it feels like the franchise slop that we're getting now. It feels very like this is the brand, this is the gobbledygook, this is like look at all these characters. Don't you love these characters? And look how like we're giving you all these big fan moments for all these characters now.
Yeah.
Like it became too aware of itself, and like this felt more like content than any other season, than like actually like telling a story about the characters where you're focusing on the characters. This felt more like, here's your big, TikTok moment. Here's your Murray one-liner. Here's your Erica one-liner. Hey, look, we brought back the teacher from season 1. He was there too. I'm surprised he wasn't there for Will's coming out. Like it's like
He's banging the librarian.
He was in every
yeah,
season.
the Snookums line. Oh boy, how funny was that? Murray calling him Snookums every single time. Wow.
I did enjoy that.
Corey, I want to revisit your power rankings for a second, because Murray was higher than yours, and when you brought up that line where you're like, Murray was like, oh, like when he was, making up the lie to the kids, like, oh, I was in town and who lives here? Well, the buyers or whatever. Like that part was funny in season 4. I think season 5 is the most like, I do not need Murray here at all. Oh, wow, look at this, Corey.
Yeah, I had it up. So
well,
you see,
Corey, yeah, go ahead.
Murray is right. Murray is in my 3rd tier from the top.
Okay.
What was your question? Do you have a question about where he falls and if he's like going to go down, or if he goes down because of this season?
I would hope so, but it's your power ranking. Go ahead.
Corey, I love how you give the mind flare its own little thing.
I can't remember. I had like a whole thing for
I forgot about that.
villains that stuck around too long. Ain't that the truth?
Jonathan as a villain?
No.
Oh, no. Oh, yeah. I see.
Can't wait for them. That's what Jonathan was.
Now, Corey.
And I was like, oh, are we going to get a Mr. Wheeler death here? But nope, we did not.
Ted's alive, baby.
Yeah, Ted's alive. Here's the thing. If I were redoing it, yeah, I think he would probably go down. I don't think he would go down that much, but also I think Joyce would probably stay where she is. It's just that a lot of these characters, I think you're right. A lot of the characters got sacrificed for other like you get character moments from Dustin and Steve and Nancy and Jonathan and better or worse Will. I think 11 and Hopper get character moments where they're like being honest and true and with each other. Even 8 or what's her name? I can't remember.
Starts with a K.
I can't think of it. Anyway, but a lot of them there are characters that get character moments, and I feel like because of that they would move up, and the ones that did not do move down. But like with Murray, I'm not really expecting a lot from Murray. I'm honestly surprised he was in as much of the season as he was. Like I think he was at the
right.
coming
That's what
out
I'm
story.
saying. I didn't want more of Murray. You misunderstood. This is not saying I needed more character moments from Murray. I wanted less. In fact, I wouldn't have minded if he was not there at all.
So you're saying
I don't need to keep crowding up this
around
cast
too long.
This it made me feel. It reminded me of like what I said, like Ted Lasso season 3, where it's like, well, people liked those people at the bar, those fans in the pub. Make sure that we give them more screen time in season 3. And it's like, no. So, like it's too aware of itself with Murray becoming such a like, oh, they thought Murray was funny. Double down, more Murray. Oh, more Erica, more quips from Erica. It's just like,
yeah.
And we're just losing out on the earnest nature of like the conversations that we used to have between characters in the show. Like I think another great way to look at it is like the town of Hawkins. Such appeal of the show is the small town aspect, and every season feels like we are exploring the town and learning new stuff about the town. And this season we should have really, we're under military occupation, we're under quarantine, and like it feels like we don't really explore that much beyond that opening montage because we have too much crazy plot to deal with. That's just like what we have to focus on. We don't really get much from Hawkins living under occupation with all the satanic panic they dealt with in season 4, and then the world opens up. And, hell comes out with, the upside down, and then they just kind of board it up and like Hawkins back to normal. We don't explore Hawkins at all. Like, like you think of all the bike riding we do in the first couple seasons, and the driving around and the mall and the pool and just the high school politics of it all. And there's just none of that. There's just none of that in season 5 because like Cole said, we're building towards like an obligatory giant epic ending, and then but at that point I'm just numb to it because I'm not even really scared for these characters at this point, and they're all just super duper capable. No one's really, so they say they're scared. I don't really see the fear at that point. I think it's scarier in season 1 when there's a single Demogorgon in the walls possibly than all these Demogorgons that they're fighting and mowing down and stuff, and it's just, I think we've just kind of lost the stakes at a certain point. You either die a hero in season 3 or you live long enough to see yourself become a villain in season 5 as a show. I don't mean that toward a specific character.
You mean that in the general sense of the show as a whole?
I mean that in the general sense.
The show is Zach's.
So, Zach, I'm getting a sense, and correct me if I'm wrong, you didn't really like this season. Is that right? I can't tie it down for sure.
I didn't hate it. It's not, I'm not feeling as vitriolic toward it as I was like Game of Thrones season 8. And I think it's because what you said, Corey, and I agreed with something you said earlier, that you said like the character outcomes, the final character outcomes, you didn't have a problem with. And I think that's why I'm not like really I'm disappointed. I'm not like vitriolic because there weren't like character assassinations. I just felt the characters were like underserved. I just felt like the characters weren't.
So, but then you have this question about whether you have this question of whether or not you're too precious with the characters, but now you're saying now they're underserved, so they're not.
No.
Being
By precious, I mean like are we keeping too many of them around? Like, and that's why we can't spread. We don't have time to slow down because we have to. Every big scene with them, it's this person says something, this person says something, this person says something, then this person says something, and then that's how they form their plan. We just go around the room and everyone says the next thing, and it's like people don't talk like that. We've lost like the way that people actually conversate and talk.
So
I counted the number of people. I paused it at Will's coming out. You know how many people are in that room?
20.
You know how many people
15.
are in there? Like 13 people are in this room hearing this big intimate moment. It doesn't feel like an intimate moment anymore because we have so many characters.
It's just that moment did frustrate me for one specific reason, because it was along the lines of.
What was it?
Well, it was like, we have to get going. We have to leave in 5 minutes. Like, that's what it was. It was like, we have to leave in 5 minutes. And then he was like, okay, can I sit everyone down? So that way, since we have 5 minutes, let me sit everyone down really quick. and taking time when it feels like we don't really have time for anything. Getting back to your point, I thought the urgency of the season did play out for the majority of it, where you're saying like, oh, people didn't really have those moments, and those small moments you did get, like where we get a moment between Dustin and Steve. I feel like the urgency of the overall plot of the season, you could still feel the moment that we do get with Eleven and Hopper and Jonathan and Joyce, or not Jonathan and Joyce, Jonathan and Nancy. I feel like the urgency is still there. You could still feel it. This was the only moment where you pause the urgency. And so it's like, okay, so we can slow this season down, and we haven't been. And we decided to slow it down for this moment that probably didn't need to include, like, if for an intimate moment, it would have been much better if it was just like his 4 friends, maybe 11 and Max as well.
And that scene would have been very strong. I think.
If it was just all of them, the D&D players and then 11 as well, counting Max in
the party.
Counting Max in the D&D, yes, the traveling party, because 11's the mage.
That would have felt much more profound.
It would have felt more profound, and you could have done that. They were like in the back of a van, like just sitting for a while, like traveling.
That would have been a time to do it.
I was like,
you're not doing anything else. You know?
Like just what are you doing right then? But I don't know, that part did bother me.
The way you know what else? You know what the little thing I noticed about that scene too that was like frustrating, and it's like and it was for us because it doesn't even make sense for him to say in this moment. And I'll tell you why. That he said, and I had feelings for someone else who I knew who was not like me and wouldn't like me back. And then I realized it wasn't about them. It was about me. That was like, he was my Tammy. And like, he says he was my Tammy to this group of 13 people when only one, maybe 2 people are understanding what the fuck he means by that. Robin, and then maybe Steve.
Zach,
and it's like Robin also made the point, only 3 people, including you, Will, know about my secret, and hopefully I can double it by the end of the year. That's my hope. If I work myself up to it, that would make it 6. He's talking to a room of 12, and he's like not outing Robin, but like for a brief second there, Robin had to be like, "What the hell are you doing? Drag me into this coming out. This is your coming out. I'm not ready to do this." So but that line is so we, the audience, us silly, stupid, dumb audience, know he's talking about Mike. Yeah, I mean, it's just that's the stuff that frustrates me with the writing. It's just like, that was.
So I have a question for you. We get into this, and we've gone through this, and Cole, I do want to hear your opinion on this.
Okay.
Okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry. No, you go.
Well, I was going to say, what is it? Like, why do you think the writing took a hit in this season?
I told you, because it's all plot. It's all plot. There's no character.
Why?
It's exposition.
Changed?
Like the need to pour out exposition just over and over and over and over again became like the central tool for how the story was told, when in past seasons we actually saw stuff, or we actually did stuff with these characters. Like, we went through this journey with them. Whereas this one, it's like Dustin could have came up and been like, yeah, I made this like antenna using blah, blah, blah. And that would have been fine. We don't need to know what it's for. But guess what? In this, it's exposition. I made this for this, so we can do this, so that no one can do this. It's
just because they've created such a complicated plot with this last one that they have no choice but to reiterate, over-explain everything, and have a billion different plans that they set up because things are so complicated with all these different like physical devices to help them explain it for us dumb audience. And
I am dumb.
That happens so many times because you have overcomplicated it at this point, and we've like, you, I don't know. There's no space. It's just not ground. The characters are no longer relatable anymore. Like, they are like when they set that entire, like, the plot in in episode 3, when they're like, okay, Will had a vision and he's the fat kid from school. So that means Vecna's coming for him next, which means if we send Erica in there and drug the entire family, then we can move him and then keep him knocked out, so that like a Demogorgon will then show up, and we will all home alone this entire house to hurt the Demogorgon and put a tracker on the Demogorgon. So when it runs back from the Upside Down, we'll have someone ready to track the Demogorgon in the Upside Down and find it all the way back to What are we talking about? What are we doing? It's like, and these characters, I remember when it was like a crazy lead to like, okay, she figured out that if she sets up the lights in a certain way, we can talk to Will.
Yeah.
And that was cool and novel, and I bought that from a person. This is insane, and how casual they're about this whole plan. This is the most dangerous thing you have ever done. Any single person in this room, this is the most dangerous thing you've ever done. We're joking around like, this is no big deal. We got it. Like, sounds like a plan. Let's all do it. You know, it's like, this is insane.
No,
You're taking some
drug and
leaps
kidnap
here.
a college.
Erica Sinclair should be in jail. Erica should be in jail.
For what?
And we're not talking. It's just.
I do love that scene just for the fact that when her friend won't eat the cake and she's like taking care of her parents and everyone's passed out, Erica so stoically gets up with the needle and like jams it in her
That's
neck.
what I'm over. It's just, that's like she is not, this is a joke character. This is not a person we're watching. This is a joke character who is funny in season 2 because she shows up and delivers some jokes and like doesn't overstay her welcome. Same thing with Murray in season 2. Perfect amount. Mwah, chef's kiss amount of Murray in season 2. And like, it just, but you know, fans loved them. More screen time. And now they're all part of the gang. And you know, it's just, they're all part of they're all just, like I said, they're all just like superhero versions of themselves now. And I don't literally mean with powers like Will, because I actually like the Will power thing. That episode 4, like the ending of episode 4, clear highlight of the season. That was really good. That episode was good.
The way he wipes the nose,
that was
just
cool.
Aura farming.
I just mean like, and I get that they're going to get more experience with,
podcast.
you know, because they've been through this a few times. But like, I think we're really stretching it. I think we're stretching it this season to the point where I'm like, these are not people anymore. These are like just like bossed up versions of themselves with the same names. So I don't know, but there are parts I liked, and it's usually the quieter character moments. The only big action moments I liked are like the end of episode 4, like we were just saying. Like that was pretty cool. That was well done. Also, Joyce Byers. You said Joyce Byers. Where did she? Last thing about this, about the setup of the writing of the show, what we're focused on now. We talked about A Way of Water. How if you have someone like Zoe Saldana, you like just because the plot there doesn't necessitate that she has to be there for a lot of it. But the movie is better when you're focused on the better character and the better actress than when we're focused on the kid characters, which are less interesting. And it's like, then the plot that you have doesn't need more of her, but then you probably should have just written the plot that's more about her. And there's probably a better movie then. When you have Winona Ryder, you should probably write the story to cater to Winona Ryder, I think, and actually give her character something to do, like season 1. So
I don't even think it's a Winona Ryder thing in this aspect. I think it's when you have your main character from season 1 and you're wrapping up the show, you can't sideline your main character from season 1.
And they think that it makes up for it by giving her the final blow with the axe, and it just doesn't. Like that, you almost kind of like, oh, you mess with the wrong family. Like if I watched this by myself,
but
if there was
family.
Whatever the by yourself version of crickets in a theater moment is, that's what it was for me.
my
just
God.
like that's
It's
all
just
right.
you.
Yeah, it's just like okay, yeah, sure.
Who was that for?
Hoorah, dance or Joyce, hoorah. That's badass. But
I do think it was poetic that Joyce did get the final blow, because this all started with something that happened to her son.
I know they had to remind us of that with the flashbacks there.
That being said, up to that a little better. I think that was the issue. There was no build. It was just like, yeah, Joyce is going to get to kill him, which, like I said, loved it. I thought Joyce getting the final blow was perfect.
Yeah. What about, I want to get more towards the end, and I want to talk about how we wrap things up.
I was supposed to give my thoughts on something before Zach went on another diatribe.
Diatribe.
Go ahead.
That's a good one.
I do want to say, with Will's scene, you guys said, I thought the perfect moment with that scene was just when he said, I don't like girls, and then it immediately cuts to Jonathan. It cuts to Jonathan, and he just has like this little smile curling up on his face, because it's this thing he's always known.
He's like, this is my chance to slide in.
But Will...
What? He's like, I hate women too. He just chimes in.
But I do want to say, I agree that if you make this a more intimate moment, the power of the scene would have gone over a lot better.
Oof.
So that's really all I had on the scene. I thought it was actually very well done, though.
I think in a vacuum,
it's very well done. But overarching, like you said, Corey, they're on a time crunch. The world's ending.
But by their own design.
Yeah.
It's by their own design that they're putting these stakes there, which are fine stakes if that's what you want to do. But then you take a moment like, oh, we have to get going in 5 minutes. And I remember that. And they were like, before we go, gosh, Zach's falling again.
There's
one of the things I really liked. Oh, sorry.
But Finn Wolfhard just hosted SNL.
I saw
and
that.
I've seen some of the sketches. He's really funny, but one of them was all the Stranger Things spinoff. One is like Sex in the City with him and Dustin and Lucas, and they're just being all goofy. But the joke is, and you guys might ask, where's Will? It's because his coming out scene is still going on.
Oh my gosh.
And that was the joke they chose to make on that.
I do want to talk about the finale. Probably my favorite part of the series was the very end scene when they're playing D&D and campaign comes to an end.
Oh my God, the synth piano
and
playing in the background.
They ask like, what, that's it? And they ask Mike to give like kind of wrap things up. All good and well. I think all the stories ended very nicely and they got the emotional touch points that they were supposed to get. But specifically around 11 and the wrap up to her story, what do you guys think happened?
Are you asking if we believe?
I'm just asking if you think that it happened the way Mike says it happened, or do you think it happened the way...
I would like to think it happened the way Mike thinks it happened.
Because then no characters die at all in this final season. Not one main character died.
I think there was this quote I read after where it was...
If that's true, cool. If it's true.
If the Duffers described like why 11 had to go, is that 11 represents the magic of childhood. She was the magic of Hawkins. There are no ands, ifs, or buts about it.
Don't take that. I said that earlier.
So when 11 leaves Hawkins, it is the end of childhood, per se, for all these characters. That's what it's kind of symbolizing. I would like to think that 11 did get her happy ending because everybody else got theirs, and it's so unfair to a character like her who has probably gone through like the worst of it. Out of all of these characters, I would say her, Will, and Hopper have gone through it probably the most. And I think to not give her that is unfair to the character. It's not what the character deserves. So I think I do believe Mike's story. I do believe the logic behind it. I think I'm with the party. When they're all like sitting there sobbing and Max asks like, is it true? Dustin just like so softly says, I believe. Like that's, you know.
You like that?
I think that was like the perfect moment to sum up. Like, it's hard, but you just gotta believe.
I don't know. I don't buy it.
Yeah, I don't buy it. No.
I think she died.
Which
is okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
I think it's okay, but I like the idea that maybe she got out.
I know, but in a very complicated story, having a very simple ending where it's like, no, she didn't make it. You know, I think that also paints like that sometimes that happens. But I mean, if you have a story where she did make it, I think that also opens it up in a world that we're in, our world that we're in, that is very attached to IP and attached to content. I hope that she didn't, because if you don't, then in 20 years from now, you have the Stranger Things reboot and you have her in a village that they find.
Who are you?
And it's like,
Jane Hopper, but I used to go by 11.
No, of course she's not going to say Jane Hopper. She's going to say some new name. She's like, people call me Jane or something like that. I don't know.
They called me Lady Jane.
I think the ending. I think she died too, but I guess I don't mind Mike believing.
Yeah, I don't mind that
she didn't, and I think that scene was really effective. And again, that's why I don't hate the finale, because I think that last 40 minutes was all really effective, and it did. It worked for me. I wasn't crazy about the other, the Mr. What's-It kids all running downstairs to start playing D&D after. Didn't really need that, but like overall, I think it was all the emotional goodbye stuff. Like it's the end of Friends, them walking out of the apartment and turning off the lights. Like that moment for Stranger Things that worked for me.
Mike closing the door to the basement, like as if it's for the last time for him because it's the last time for us.
Yeah, I mean, the saying goodbye to that stuff that emotionally worked. That was effective, but it's because it's the quieter, smaller moments coming after all this big, big, big stuff. So I do want to ask the question: Cole? You kind of brought it up earlier, like you have to go bigger, and like that. Some things pull it off. Like I think Avengers Endgame, probably the biggest of all of those, and I think it pulled it off. And sometimes, you get swamped down a little bit. I think like a middle ground one is like, I mean, middle ground's harsh. I still really like the movie, but like Dark Knight Rises, really good movie. It goes so big, kind of similar to this, like with the quarantined city. And like the scale is huge in that movie. And I think it does ultimately suffer from that and all the plot mechanics that we're dealing with in that movie. And that's why it's not as good as the first two movies, in my opinion. But like, is it possible for a finale, movie or show, to go smaller? And the example in my head for movie in a ending that went smaller than its predecessor is one that you guys don't like. You guys do not like it.
But then I have a different
Unless
example.
I'm missing an obvious one. And I probably am missing an obvious one. So I'm curious if you guys have one. Coming off of Halloween Kills, which is the big movie with how many kills are in that movie. And he's killing firefighters and all this stuff. And we're dropping the big franchise lines and we're going crazy. Huge ensemble character. Or huge ensemble cast, I should say, of characters. Then you go to Halloween Ends, which is just focused on like 3 people, Allison, Laurie, and Corey Cunningham. That, some people don't like that choice, and I understand that. And, maybe there's an execution flaws there. There definitely are some execution flaws there. That's why I like Halloween Ends a lot more, though. It is a much more intimate, quieter conclusion to that story. Don't love it when it becomes the big town again, them carrying the body into the grinder, that with the big parade at the end or whatever. That's when it's like, no, stop it. You had it right. And then they kind of feel the need to go big right there at the end. Like that Halloween Ends, I think, is the movie example of a finale, quote unquote, that got smaller. That really works for me.
I just don't understand how Danny McBride was given like the keys to the kingdom with Halloween. Like, how did that happen?
That's just, I mean, I think it's just hand in hand with David Gordon Green because they work together a lot. Like, it was just like, oh, yeah, David Gordon Green, you want to do this? Yes, your friend Danny McBride can help as well. That's what it was.
Fucking Kenny Powers writing Halloween.
I don't know. So that's what I was thinking of for movie-wise. In terms of shows...
I had another movie, though.
Oh, okay, yeah, please.
What was it?
Logan. And that's one that doesn't...
Go like a small, more intimate character story. Yeah,
but that one, in the context of Stranger Things, would not have worked.
Because you couldn't.
Here's the thing.
Zach, you said season 4 ended with like, it was going to be the battle to like shake the earth.
Well, I just thought you would pick it up right there and we would have like explored this town crumbling apart and like the character moments there. But it just, you could still keep it focused on the characters themselves and not have these intricate plots and plans and the military that ended up doing nothing again and all that stuff. But I get what you're saying. I think when I thought of, oh, you can't do this, I thought you meant like we can't keep it more adult. I think because Logan is easily the most, it upped it to R.
No. I just mean stakes wise. Like, yeah.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
No, but you could definitely keep it like that with the final one. I'm not saying like the trajectory that season 4 kind of put it on. You could definitely take it up, especially with Netflix. I mean, that's the perfect medium to do it because it's not like it's a theater. You don't have those restrictions to worry about. You can rate it your own arbitrary system. Like, it doesn't really matter.
Mm-hmm.
It would have the same one as the last one. I don't think you can get any worse than that. And you have all sorts of crazy stuff on Netflix anyway. So it's like, it doesn't really, like, it really didn't matter in terms of that. I mean, in terms of small stakes, because the first one was just like 4 kids on a bike or 4 kids riding bikes around the neighborhood looking for their friend. That's kind of the stakes of the first one. So that was the smallest building up to it. But with this one, you couldn't do that because there was such a mystery that to conclude the season, I think you had to not reveal everything about the mystery, but put it to rest where it's like, this is over.
Yeah, well, they didn't though. They just kind of set up a prequel to it. They didn't really solve the mystery. It just
I don't even think
it's not.
We don't know it's a prequel. Yeah, we don't know if it's a prequel. We don't know.
Even worse. It's okay. It's a sequel. Even worse.
I think we have been given like the bare minimum of information about this spinoff.
It's fine. I don't know. It reminded me of like the way that Rise of Skywalker was being used to set up spinoffs that may or may not happen. But like with like the Lando thing and Rise of Skywalker, when they put that in there at the end, and it's like that was like the most like cynical like setting up for a spinoff thing, type of thing that you put into this movie, this conclusion here. That's what like some of these spin-off-ish things felt like to me there. I mean, it's not egregious like that is, and this does not upset me nearly to the level that Rise of Skywalker does. And that might just be, A, a bit more quality here, and B, I just don't care as much about Stranger Things as I did Star Wars. So like the investment level is different. So I don't know, but comparing this finale to other finales of shows, I do think the finale overall is one of the better episodes of the season. I think it's probably up there with episode 4. The Sorcerer was also pretty solid. If I'm like ranking finales into tiers of like a finale, like amazing finale, like that blew me away. And then there's like very good finales. Like I'm very, very happy with that finale. And then there's like finales that are like just good enough to like, I'll accept it. And then like bad finales. I would put this in like that third tier of like, it's just good enough. Like I'm okay, fine. Like I'm fine with that finale. And I think another one I would put into that is like Ash vs. Evil Dead, which like no spoilers for either one of you, but like don't love the way it resolves the plot of the show, the overall plot of the show. Not a fan of that. But the resolution for the character, I like a lot. So that's kind of similar to how I feel here, which is like I'm just kind of underwhelmed at the end of the Vecna and the Mind Flayer stuff and all that. Like it didn't really do much for me. But like saying goodbye to the characters, that all worked for me. So that's kind of like this how I would describe my feelings for the finale. But like elite finale for me is like Succession. I think that blew me away. I think the Succession finale is like pretty much perfect. I think that like because it did not betray what the show had been to that point, and it felt like an inevitable conclusion that you didn't see coming, if that makes sense. Like it gets there and it's like, of course, but yet it's not what I predicted. Yeah. So it's like that's like the best possible like writing outcome, I think. And that's if you feel like that. And Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, both of them have great finales. And then you know what? I'll even throw Clone Wars finale in there. That season 7 finale right there at the end. Whoa. If you count the entire arc, it's like absurdly amazing. But even that last episode of that arc was a good finale. About that. So
and then you have Tales of the Jedi, where they have like the training episode that ties in to what Ahsoka does.
Yes.
In that finale.
Yeah,
too.
I remember that now. Yeah. Tales of the Jedi was solid. I need to rewatch that. I didn't watch Tales of the Sith or whatever the other one was called. Tales of the Empire.
I need to watch Tales of. Yeah, I need to watch.
I also need to finish Bad Batch. I know Bad Batch is like done now, so I wonder how that series finale was after those 3 seasons. But
the first series was pretty good.
It was pretty good.
Good finales like Veep, Barry. Those are good. I thought Andor. I think Andor had a good finale. Not like an amazing finale. It wasn't as good as a couple episodes before, but the Andor finale was really good.
I mean, I think we don't go back to them enough. Sitcom finales like Friends. I think the leaving the apartment. Right. Parks and Rec.
Yes, Parks and Rec had a great one. Yeah,
Parks and Rec with the beautiful flash forwards, and then it's like they're taking the picture and Traveling Wilburys kicks in. That was phenomenal. Community has one of my favorite finales probably ever.
You haven't seen Scrubs?
New Girl. Didn't they? I mean, they're rebooting it, so it's not really, there's really no finale.
It's a different show now, though. This is a different season.
Communities is great, just because I love the idea of all them sitting around the table pitching spinoffs or their season 7. What else? Sopranos, all-timer. God, Game of Thrones was so fucking bad.
The thing about Game of Thrones is I actually remember thinking, I hate that last season. I do. But I remember, for me, the problems were showing themselves in episode 3. It wasn't like bad. I didn't think it was a bad episode, The Long Night. But then it was like episode 4 and 5 were like, oh my God, what are you guys doing? And then by the time I got to that last episode, like the finale, which was just episode 6, it was a short season. I was like, honestly, coming off of 4 and 5, this wasn't as bad. Like, this was just like, this is just like, all right. Yeah, that's. Because I didn't mind the resolutions for a lot of characters. Like, I liked the Jon Snow resolution. I liked, that was really the main one. The problem is, like, there was character assassinations in Game of Thrones, and that's why it was so much more violently upsetting. And especially also comparing it to the quality of what came before. Because I think Game of Thrones at its peak is better than Stranger Things at its peak. And so, like, I think that's why that was even more upsetting as well. And just, the writing got a little too simplistic at the end, just compared to how it was before. So similar there.
I'm looking at this list of, like, top 20 finale or most
Leftovers.
watched ever.
Leftovers. I read one of them that had Leftovers at number 1, and I actually agree with that one. That was a really solid finale. And that, you know what? That's actually one that went smaller. For all the grand ideas that they have in the Leftovers, the finale, the series finale, is focused on your two main characters and their relationship. It is like truly one of the more like subversive ways to end a show, because like you're playing with big themes and big ideas, and then it really is just about two characters reconnecting. It really is.
Cheers has one of like, I think, the most memorable finales because it is so simplistic in the way. I mean, the
Simple
last
or
line,
simplistic?
Simplistic. Like all the elements just are very like low key.
I would call that simple. I think simplistic makes it sound like it's like you didn't think this through. Like this is like kind of underthought. Whereas simple is not inherently bad. I think simple can be very good.
But like,
you know,
the last line of the show is like someone coming to knock on the door, and Sam, played by Ted Danson, just goes, "Sorry, we're closed," and then he turns off the light. Like that's the perfect way to end like a sitcom.
He was like, "We don't know your name," and it's get out of here. We don't know your name.
Well, it's also after Norm's left. R.I.P. George Wendt. George Wendt passed away last year.
George went to heaven?
I believe he
did. I'm sure someone else made that joke. I honestly didn't know that was his name. So that was someone else. I'm sure someone else already made that joke. I'm not trying to take credit. That was my first time hearing his name.
I will say, I know you guys haven't watched it. Sons of Anarchy, the finale of that, it's pretty raw emotionally.
Ooh.
Like it really hits a nerve for me just because I love the character of Jax Teller. Charlie Hunnam is like, in my opinion, one of the most underrated actors working in TV. But yeah, Sons of Anarchy, that's a personal favorite of mine. I wouldn't put it in like this God tier list of finales, but it's a very good finale.
Finales are very difficult.
You have to wrap up a show, give closure to characters, like the Succession finale, which I think is great. I think it's great. In a way, it felt like just another episode, you know? Like, and I think that is such a unique way.
Careful, boy. I enjoy you, but careful.
No, I'm saying it's a unique way to do that because it
didn't feel grandiose. Like, oh, it looks different. It feels like it is just part of the story.
There's this quote,
is that what you're saying?
David, it wasn't
you wanted like their company building to get like bombed in a terrorist explosion or something, like to show about a business empire.
Yeah, but like we get all these conclusions for like Tom, Shiv,
the eldest boy.
So good.
But I do think there's this quote by David Chase on why he picked "Don't Stop Believing" for the Sopranos finale, and there's that line in the song: "The show never ends; it goes on and on and on and on." So there are great finales like that where we don't get closure, and that's okay. We know that the story's gonna keep going on.
That's
And that's what I was trying to say about the Succession finale. It just feels like this story can still go on, and that's okay. We don't need to know where these characters go, but we know it goes on. Barry was so finite. Barry was such a finite finale. Like that's the end. I loved it, but that was the end.
Yeah, no spoilers for Barry, but it definitely that the book is closed on that story arc. There's not much else you can do there.
Why don't I remember how Barry ended?
Well, we'll talk about it off pod because we're not going to spoil Barry season 4 on here right now.
Well, now don't spoil it for me because now I feel like maybe I didn't watch season 4.
But
you absolutely did because you were with me when we watched the finale.
Well, I don't remember the finale.
Remember it came out the same night as Succession finale. We watched them both at Ben's.
Oh, I do remember watching Succession, yeah. I don't remember watching
I watched Barry with my family.
It's a family show. It's a good family program.
We were at the lake. We put the girls to bed, and then we watched Barry.
I don't like you saying the girls like you're 45 years old.
My nieces, they're the girls. Zach calls the boys.
The boys. Well, mainly Thomas, I go like, what is the boy doing? So now that we've kind of like wrapped all up the show in like specifics, I think I do want to talk in like an overall sense with Stranger Things. Like, what is this legacy of the show going to be to you? Like, how are you going to look back on it? Do you see yourself revisiting it? Like, any question such as that. Like, so how are you going to look back on Stranger Things? Cole, you look like you're itching to go first.
Yeah. So I
am itching to go first.
After I watched this, it was on New Year's Day, and I was having like the hangover depression. So it's already a rough day, and I'm watching this finale, and I'm slowly coming to terms with like
you were slowly
I was coming to terms with mourning my own childhood as I'm watching this, because I was really thinking about this. To put in perspective, when the first season of this show came out, I could not drive. That's how I entered Hawkins, Indiana.
That was more of a talent issue than anything else. But
sounds like a personal problem.
Now I've gone through life. I've gone to college, and I have like said goodbye. So by saying goodbye to the show, it's almost like I'm saying goodbye to like the wonder of being young in a way. You know, like life's really hitting me. Yeah, life's really hitting me. But the legacy of this show will always be, you know, just those moments of childhood that you just don't get back. You know, that's what this symbolizes to me. The moments of your youth, you just don't get back. And it's in like the best way that it's bittersweet. I immediately turned on season 1 because I'm like, I really want to like relive like what made this show great. And I'm watching season 1 and I'm just thinking, these kids are young. They were like really young when they filmed this, but also it's just, wow, there was so much magic in this show, you know? And
yeah, it felt very novel and special then. I mean, again, it was nostalgia, but it wasn't like just like nostalgia via references. It was just like, it was a feeling that it captured, not specific, tangible, like, oh, we have this character from this and this character from this, like type of thing. And I did appreciate like how they would throw in like actors who were famous then for like bit parts, like Sean Astin,
Paul Reiser.
Paul Reiser was a good one. He was a good subversion of his Aliens character there. I appreciated that. In season 3, Carrie Yules in season 3. The season 4, there's always one. Who was the one in season 4 that was like that type of casting?
Zach, how do you not know this?
I don't remember.
Freddie
Robert Englund.
Krueger.
Robert Englund. Yeah, Robert Englund. Yeah, that was great. Well, he was barely in it, but I did appreciate his one scene. And then season 5, Linda Hamilton, who that one's where we're showing the strings most. Like, okay, she is just here because she's Linda Hamilton. I mean, we needed another like person from that era to be in the show because her character didn't amount to much. I did appreciate that's like just enough like cheeky nostalgia without it being. At least they're not out here saying their lines from those movies. That would be a few bridges too far, I think, into the abyss.
Like,
but
the fact
right
that
balance.
we have Sean Astin and he is basically saying he was one of the kids from Derry, Maine, and had like a fear of Pennywise, you know. He gives that whole speech about the clown. But yeah, just to say this show, I will revisit this show. I've already started revisiting it. And I think this is one where it's like, it's kept in this bubble of life for me. And I think I can like marry like moments in my life to seasons of the show. And I was having a really tough time because there's that scene when they're on the roof and they're talking about how it's never the same. And I was thinking about my 2 friends who left me and moved away and having a really tough day.
Who?
Are you going to become a baseball coach, Cole?
Oh, I would love that. I would love that.
And teach sex ed to the local middle school?
Oh, I would love that. Oh, nothing would give me more pleasure than Cole becoming a sex ed teacher at Normandy High. Normandy High School.
Do not have sex. If you have sex, you will get pregnant and you will die. Now here, take some rubbers.
I remember watching season 1 with my brother when it first dropped. I remember him telling me about it. It's like, yeah, and he did pitch it to me. I remember him pitching it to me like, yeah, it is like those old movies, like, you know, like Poltergeist or Goonies. Like, I think that's kind of how it was pitched to me. It was like it's a Spielberg type of tribute type of show, like kind of Amblin-esque. Oh, and I remember watching it and being a really big fan. I mean, I really love that season. Season 2, I remember the trailer for season 2 playing during like a Super Bowl I don't remember what year that was or who was playing, but there was that's when like the big mind flayer was like revealed in the Super Bowl
2015
commercial.
would have been Broncos,
It had the
Panthers.
It had the Ghostbusters theme. That was awesome. That was just like really, I remember like being really hyped then. I remember we were really hyped going into season 3 because I think Corey and I watched it all in one day.
All in one sitting.
Which that might not have been the approach in hindsight, the right approach, but our hype was pretty, it was up there. Clearly, if we were willing to do that.
No, I thought that was season 2.
No, that was 3. It was 3. It was the summer season. And it was like, because I remember it was definitely the mall season. It was the mall season for sure. I definitely remember that. And that timeline wise, that would make sense.
Her hair was slicked back in the season that
I think we were upper class in high school. I think we were like seniors or something in high school or something like that. I don't remember the exact year. And then season 4, I just remember thinking like, wow, this is like the big blockbuster popcorn entertainment that Game of Thrones wanted to be, but like kind of fumbled. And I think I remember being really high on season 4 when it came out. And I still like it. When I rewatched it, I was like, yeah, this is mostly really cool. But it's really cool because it's also setting up what I think should, like, if it keeps that quality, like, I would like to see this wrapped up neatly with my characters. And I think that's why I can still, this is not going to be Game of Thrones for me, where I'm like, oh, I hate the last season, so I'm never going back. Because it just wasn't to that extent here. I can go back. Because again, the characters, there weren't a character assassinations like we're in Game of Thrones, where you're watching arcs that you love in Game of Thrones, and you're like, oh my God, they're just so out of character later. That's not really what this is. I think we just lose a bit of a touch with reality, but I can still enjoy the overall arc of the show enough, even with me not liking the last season, to go back and revisit the show. So it's going to be a minute. I'm not jumping right back in like Cole is, but I think it'll be a few years before I, kind of touch it again. And maybe it won't be like me watching the whole show, but I could see myself picking random episodes in season 1 and just having them on in the background and enjoying that, or season 2 or 3. So like that. That's kind of how it is for me, but it is going to be overall. I'm overall very happy with the show, and I'll miss having it. I'll miss looking forward to it.
Something tells me Zach was like, "How the fuck did Max graduate high school? She was in a coma for 2 years."
Didn't mind that, honestly. And here's the thing: I was upset with Max not dying at the end of season 4. They cannot kill anybody. I was like, they can't kill anybody. Like, look what happened to Max, and she's still alive. But then, honestly, watching season 5, I was like, when she shows up at the end of episode 3 or whatever it is, I was like, man, Sadie Sink really is like the best actor out of all these kid characters. So I was like, I think she's kind of
I'd say it's her and Caleb McLaughlin.
Yeah, they're both really
the
good.
Two out of that's why Caleb McLaughlin's basically like been everywhere since the show came out. I feel like he doesn't get the credit he deserves for being like, he is working in Hollywood.
Everywhere. Where has he been?
He's been in a ton of movies, Corey.
I'm looking at it, and I don't see these tons of movies. He was in The Deliverance in 2024, and then Dora.
To be honest, Cole, I have not seen him anywhere, but he is good.
I'm not saying he's not good. I'm just like, you're seeing him everywhere. Like I've seen Sadie Sink everywhere.
Yeah, I'd say Sadie Sink is the one I'm most confident is going to have the biggest post Stranger Things career out of those kid characters.
Yeah,
Corey, how are you going to look back on the show now that it's over? And then we can.
I'm going to look back on it positively. I remember when when season 5 was about to come out, I rewatched all of it to get ready for it, and I was enjoying it the entire time. And season 4, I did the exact same thing for season 4, but I did it with my now fiance. And so I think I have good memories going through this show. I don't think they're kind of in like contrast to what you were saying. I don't know if they're as tied to specific memories in life besides the one season that Zach and I watched all the way through. Everything else, I don't remember if I started off the show with everyone else. Like if I watched it, I don't know if I watched it when everyone else was watching it. I can't remember if I started or if I came in season 2. I can't remember exactly. But, I mean, it has been a while, and the emotional beats at the very end did hit me. So I'm going to look back on it fondly, and I probably will revisit it at some point because it's only 5 seasons, and they're not even 10 episodes each. So it's also...
Oh, my God. Yeah.
It's like
it's an easy rewatch.
It's like, it's not a huge commitment. If you're like, I want to watch something this month, and I just want to watch one thing this month, it's like, okay, well, let me put Strange Things on. Because it hits like a certain... Like, if you're 5 years from now, Halloween, and like during the Halloween, I like to watch as many horror movies as possible just because Zach is a big horror movie guy. And that way I have something to talk to him about to keep our friendship alive. But if I don't like this, this year I didn't really have time to do that. And so I was watching Stranger Things because it was about to come out. I made the big template or the big power rankings with everything because I had that kind of time, and it was a good Halloween season show to watch. But I think I'm going to look back on it fondly, and I'm going to revisit it sometimes. Probably not going to revisit it in looking for a certain memory or feeling, but revisit to just enjoy the ride again. Because overall, like, I mean, we've been talking pretty negatively about season 5, but I mean, on Letterboxd, I gave it a 4.5, but I think that was me rating it more. I was rating the entire series more than that. And I stand by that.
We're supposed to be able to rate shows on Letterboxd this year, I believe.
You're supposed to be able to rate shows on Letterboxd in 2023. Okay, so they're lying. I have a screenshot of the tweet. I remember when they did it. I was really excited. It just, that date came and went, and they said nothing about it. So don't believe whatever they say. But yeah, so definitely look back on it finally. I'm not going to say I'm as connected as Zach. I don't know if you heard this, but I don't remember if I started it when the rest of the world started it. I think I might have been delayed a year. I can't remember. I can't quite remember. But because of that, it's not as tied to my childhood as it is for Cole.
Yeah.
On to the award season.
Apparently they strayed off course, and we're fairly certain they're in guerrilla hands.
So why don't you use the regular army? What do you need us for?
Because some damn fool accused you of being the best.
Cole, Zach had a great idea. He said, let's do
I think we should
awards.
do all of ours. Yeah. I think we should do for the season first and then circle back for the overall.
Back overall MVP.
Yeah.
So
okay. So our
for
MVP
whoever goes first for this one goes last for a whole show.
Zach, why don't you go first?
No, it's too late. I already have you going first.
You
too late.
bastard! Bastard!
You make the doc then. You get to decide. That's the whoever makes the doc that we follow gets to choose the order of the award and review section.
Says that they insist on outside opinions.
What kind of opinions?
Well, your kind, not to put too fine a point on it. I mean, let's face it, in your particular field, you're the top minds.
That's the rule.
That's the rule. It's always been the rule.
Let's see. I think I gotta go Matt and Ross Duffer. Just use them now. They
for
created
season 5 MVP.
For season 5.
For season 5. Fuck. I thought it was overall. I thought we were doing overall and then season. Sorry, I misheard that.
I was like,
easy.
What an awful pick. I was like, go ahead.
Millie Bobby Brown. I think the character of 11 kind of goes through it, but she's always phenomenal. And I think this season, really showcased she was a great actor. In season 1, she has become an even better actor as time has gone on. So Millie Bobby Brown for season 5.
I'm up.
What was so funny, gentlemen?
I am going to pick as my MVP between two. I'm going to pick Joe Keery.
Figured.
Yeah, I'm going to pick him. He was my MVP. I think, I mean, I went over this beforehand when I did the Stranger Things power rankings getting ready for season 5. He is just so good. And I think in this season, he continues that. He doesn't have those crazy, like, odd moments. And he gets a moment in this season where he's able to be like a real person with Dustin. And I think that relationship being developed over the past 5 seasons has like really like kind of painted both of their characters and what we expect of them. And I just think Joe Keery is a great actor.
They go on road trips together.
I know, and they still stay in touch. And but just like the conflict, but back and forth of him being Zach, you attribute it to jealousy, but it's almost like I don't know. I got a little bit of that, but I got a little bit of something else where it was just like you can't. You're I don't know. You're putting him on a pedestal when I don't know. I really liked the conflict that they had between each other. So
you die, I die.
Yeah. So Joe Keery is my MVP.
It felt like you jump, I jump. It felt like you jump, I jump from Titanic. That's what that reminded me of.
Well, that line harkens back to something they said season 3. Steve's like, I'm going to do this. And then Dustin's like, no, if you die, I die.
Okay. I'm going to go for season 5 MVP. I'm going to go with Sadie saying kind of what I was saying. Like when she shows up, it is just kind of like, all right. Yeah. Like I'm more invested anytime she's on screen just because I think they give her a bit better material to do. And I mean, she's still doing a lot of explaining and like what she was doing, like in the memories and all that. But I think she's just a better performer overall. But I think that's what it comes down to. So, and I'm a fan of the Maxine character. I think, obviously, I think she's probably the highlight of season 4. So in a way, I'm kind of cheating here by like extending that into season 5, kind of continuing that arc. But yeah, I think Sadie Sink's the MVP for season 5 for me. And for my MVP for the whole show, I will
rules. It's like a new ranking. Okay, so we can pick of the last 3, but we can't re-pick anything.
And I'm excited about that aspect, so I'm gonna go with Joe Keery.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
I figured you were.
Also, Steve Harrington. I think he's the typical bully at the beginning of season 1, and that turn that he has that kind of culminates right there in that finale where he shows up to kind of make things better with Nancy, and Jonathan's there, and he gets a gun pointed at him, and then he sees a monster.
He
and
was
all
going
is happening.
to apologize to Jonathan in that moment.
Yeah, You see, that is actually that's such a good character beat. Then, yeah, you're right. It was at the you're right. It was at the buyer's house. That from that turn there, and he had the bat to how hype it was when he's bringing flowers to Nancy, and Dustin is there and is like, Nancy's not here. Do you still have that bat or whatever? And then that's just kind of where he's on that path forward. And he's like, it's the babysitter thing to make him the babysitter, but he's more than that. And I think it's just. We've talked about this before. We love charming people. We love charisma. And that's just, I think he's got it more than anyone else on the show.
Definitely.
He got the riz.
And end of beginning, too. Incredible song. I know that's not applicable here for this discussion. Just a hell of a song. So I think...
Which one?
Like what Corey said earlier when he's like, yeah, good point. He's got a point, for Stranger Things MVP. Yeah, big fan of Joe Keery for sure.
My MVP for overall is going to be Millie Bobby Brown. I think the weight that she carried in the first few seasons is undeniable. I think because especially in season 1, her face acting alone and the physical acting that she does, being so young too, is almost scary. Of how much effort her screaming in season 1, her screaming in season 2 while using the power. I think it did take a little bit of a dip in season 5 because she's putting on more of a model pose face when she's doing it, and I attribute it to she's training. She kind of knows it's not like she's using all of her effort, but she's stronger now. But it doesn't do as much for me when in the beginning seasons when she just
do as much for you.
I almost backtracked, but then neither of you said anything, so I stopped.
Take it easy.
No, it doesn't emotionally impact me the same way as it does in the first few seasons. When you get that screaming and you get that really visceral reaction from her face as she's just trying to destroy this monster as she's 12 years old or 14 years old, and you're just like, whoa, it's very scary. And I think she does a very good job, and she really carries the show in those first seasons.
I would agree with you. I'm gonna go Matt and Ross Duffer, the brothers Duffer. We talk about 80s nostalgia, and they kind of created this new wave of nostalgia with this show. 2 guys who their pilot got rejected by so many networks, and then they come to Netflix and they make this thing that's so big and it's become so profound and popular, and the characters are so phenomenal. I love their character work. I love the characters they make. I think, you always have to show love to the creators because they do a lot, and these guys did a lot.
Well said, right there at the end. I like the show creators because they do a lot. And these guys
did
do
a lot. Did a lot.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Moving on to the review section. Cole, go ahead and give your rating for season 5, your review and rating, and then go ahead and,
rankings,
if you can, rank the seasons.
If you can.
I got my season rankings ready. So, review for season 5. Goodbye, Hawkins, Indiana. It was a fun time. I went back to it, the emotional I'm talking to a place, but
what rating did you get it? What rating did you get?
Are you still going?
3.5. I had it at a 4 when I originally rated it on Letterboxd, but I'm like, no, it's kind of leaning a little.
Zach talked you off that ledge.
But
you're welcome.
My rankings.
Yeah, we don't want to enjoy things on this podcast. We don't want people to like things too much. At least not if Zach doesn't like them.
Zach doesn't like it a lot. My season rankings. Are we doing from worst to best or best to worst?
Worst to best.
Okay.
That thinks the other way won't grab an audience.
Okay, so my number 5 Stranger Things season is season 3.
Oh, God.
Season 3 was just not good.
Oh.
Like the character of Hopper. Like if I'm
Chips Ahoy?
I mean that in the yes, we got a great character in Robin, but also Hopper was not written great, and the character of Hopper kind of ruined season 3 for me in that way. But the Billy arc was also phenomenal. I thought Dacre Montgomery was great in that season. But after that,
so
my number 4 is season 5, 3 season 4, 2 season 1, and 1 season 2.
I almost got whiplash listening a little bit. I don't know why I was having an issue.
I followed that.
Can I go?
Yep.
Sometimes characters die, and sometimes the stakes are so high, surprisingly few characters die. But why can't Mike's dad die? 3.75 out of 5.
Are we going to get a consensus?
I mean this so earnestly. One of the highlights of the show this season was when he is outside just hitting golf balls. I loved that quiet moment with him.
But his wife and daughter are getting attacked in the house.
Well, then he goes in there, doesn't he?
And die, or should have died. Here are my season rankings, going from 3 going down to 5, and then doing 2-1. No, just kidding. I'm going to go 5-1 here. In last place, 5. In fourth place, season 2. In third place, season 3. In second place, season 4. And in first place, season 1. I will address season 2 because I did not realize it was going to be so high on Cole's list, and I didn't think I would have to address that one, honestly. The 11 storyline doesn't do a lot for me in terms of entertainment value. Her entire time that she's with her sister,
Callie.
That's just one episode.
It felt like 3.
Yeah, it's a tough one. It's a toughie.
It doesn't do a lot for me in terms of enjoyment, so that one takes a big hit with that.
Were you excited that we paid that off finally? I could finally go to sleep at night that we paid that off. That was really lingering.
I took a breath. I was like, oh, okay.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Thank God.
But
closure.
I was surprised your season 3 was so low for you because the mall is really cool.
The setting's cool, but I don't know, the B plots just don't work as well in that season for me. And like I said, one of my favorite
characters.
One of my favorite characters, Jim Hopper, just sucks.
He does kind of suck in that. He's a grumpy old man.
But then he has that letter at the end.
Yeah,
great redeeming letter. Yeah,
it's redeeming, but it's like,
let a man be a man. Zach,
we probably should have just let him be dead, though.
Yeah.
After that, I think that's just part of the problem with the show is that we had to bring him back too, and it's just like Winona Ryder could have kind of stepped into that aspect with 11, and that would have given her a lot more to do. It just whatever. This is low hanging fruit. Thank you, Stranger Things season 5, for finally once and for all proving that size does not always mean it's better. Or something like that. Wait a minute. I messed that up. Okay, wait. Here we go. Thank you, Stranger Things season 5, for finally proving that bigger doesn't always mean better. 2.5 out of 5.
It's on the cusp.
And then my season rankings. This kind of fluctuated for me after 5 because, like I said, 5 kind of made me feel a little bit less about 4, and 4 used to be like in my top 2. But now I kind of see like 4 and 5 as like the back half of the show that ended up getting away from what I would like about the first 3 seasons. You know what? I'll stick with my guns. Counting up. 5, 3, 2, 4, 1. So season 1 though is
3, 2, 4, 1.
That's how I feel.
On to the post-credits scene.
You're still here. It's over. Go home.
What have you guys been watching? As you usually know. So the post-credit scene, for those that are still with us right now, the post-credit scene is usually where we say what we got coming up next. Right now, we are starting a new season, so we have not really established our schedule yet. And the majority of the movies that we're looking forward to that we want to cover that are coming out this year are in the latter half / middle of the year. So we don't really have too many things scheduled for the beginning of the year, and we are kind of in a flux state right now trying to figure that out. We have some options here. This is more me talking to you guys. Do we want to
we'll
commit
cut
to
this part out
something?
later.
Do we want to commit to
Yeah,
something?
I'm down for it. Yeah. Okay.
Because
Let's commit.
So if we look
let's get it down to some options and then see what's streaming.
Well,
you know,
here's the thing. I really like the idea of doing the Friday the 13th and doing 3 Friday the 13th this year. The first one's in February. So that we would do a trilogy that'd be broken up by that and then end it with a Friday the 13th and then a baseball movie. So do we have a trilogy that we want to do? Because
Well, I was saying we could do just if we did the 2 spots, then it wouldn't even be broken up. And then the one that would come after the Friday the 13th would be a Scream 7. That's what that option would be. If you wanted to do a 2 movie thing, so it's not broken up.
No.
Because then you could just start fresh after Scream 7.
We only have one. So The Lodies comes out tomorrow.
Right.
Stranger Things 5 comes out on the 27th. And then we're going back to our regular schedule of every other week. And that brings us to the 10th of February. And then the 13th. So it'd be one movie.
It's a special one movie. Yeah, right. Then Friday the 13th.
Then
and then
the
another movie.
And
and then the 2 movies.
But Scream 7 wouldn't be isn't that in March? Or is that?
Scream 7 comes out at the end of February. So that would be the March 10th episode if we did that.
So no matter what we do is going to be broken
You're
up.
right. It's getting split up by Friday the 13th. Yeah. But that's like a special thing. That's like a one-off. That's not like...
I know. I'm not too worried about it. I'm just saying, like,
I'm worried
what do you want to do? I'm okay with doing the 2 movie combo plus Scream, but if we're going to do that, I prefer not to do a movie like Kill Bill where it's really connected.
Yeah, and also, honestly...
Or The Incredibles.
I know I put Barbarian Weapons there, and those work because those are streaming, but also if we're doing, like, Friday the 13th, and if we're doing, like, if we end up doing Scream 7, then that's, we're doing a lot of horror there, you know? And I think if we did something that's not horror, or at least not as horror as Barbarian Weapons, Beetlejuice is kind of whimsical enough, but that we don't have to do that either. But there's the Blade Runners would work, because that's a clean one, too. Anchorman's would work. It's a clean one, too. Top Guns are a clean one, too.
I think my vote, so I highlighted them. I gave them a gold, silver, and bronze, and what I would prefer to do.
Okay,
but I do see your point where that's a lot of horror movies if we do Barbarian and Weapons. So if we take that out, my vote is either Beetlejuice or Blade Runner. Even though that would be broken up, I think that's okay. Because I think both of them are broken up enough. Well, you get 2 votes, Cole. So what's your other vote?
My 2 votes would also be Batman and Blade Runner. That'd be my 2.
So 2 votes for Batman, 2 votes for Blade Runner. Cole, what's your?
You know what? Just give both of my votes to Batman.
It's happening.
Wait, you can't vote for someone twice.
Sure you can.
This is kind of crazy. Yeah.
No, because then you just
Anchorman. I don't know. Anchorman's also interesting because that would be so different. You know.
I don't want.
We can finally release the practice.
No, we would not be doing that. That's not how that would happen.
I don't want to take. I don't want to cover Anchorman and Anchorman 2.
Wow.
Here, give my second vote to Fury Road and Furiosa.
That wouldn't be a bad one.
You said that would be a bad one?
No, that wouldn't be a bad one. But the Keaton Batman, or Burton and Keaton Batmans and Blade Runner have the top 2. So it's either one of those.
I'm just always down to cover Batman.
Zach, think of a number 1 through 5. No, 1 through 10. Think of a number 1 through 10. And then Cole, you pick a number and text him, and then I'll pick a number and text him. And since I voted for Blade Runner, I'll be the representative of Blade Runner. And since you voted for Batman, you'll be the representative of the Batman.
Okay, I'm thinking of a number 1 through 10. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. And then we're going to text it to you.
Do you have it?
I have my number picked out right now. Yes, I do.
Okay. I texted my number to you. Whoever is closest is the one we do.
Who's closest?
Damn it, it's Cole.
What was the number?
It was. I thought my number was 6. Cole sent me 7.
Oh, I sent him 4.
So close to saying 5.
Back to the episode. So this is where we usually announce what we're doing next, and officially what we will be doing next are the Keaton Batmans. Is that correct? We're going to be doing the 2 Keaton Batmans.
I guess.
Is that right? Whoa, that doesn't sound too enthusiastic. So we're going to be doing
I know,
that.
and I voted for it too. That's crazy. You know, that's the thing.
We're going to be doing
But then once I got it, I was like sad about it, so I don't know what that reveals.
Well, we can always change it. We're not tied to this. We're in charge for our own.
I don't know. I'm fine with Burton or Blade Runner. That was, I think I found myself wanting Blade Runner, but if Cole would rather do Batman, I'm very fine doing Batman. We can do Blade Runner.
I'd rather do Blade Runner like at a later date where we can tie it in with something else.
Tie it in with what?
I don't know. New
There's
Ryan
no other
Gosling. New. We can do it before Doomsday.
Yeah, other things to do before Doomsday.
What does it have anything?
Denny.
I hate that they're trying to coin Doomsday because that's completely missing the point of Barbenheimer. Anyway,
and
so
yeah.
We'll be covering the 2 Keaton Batmans and then going on to Scream 7, which comes out at the end of February. So go see that in theaters, and then we will be covering it after that. Kind of wrapping up our Scream franchise covering. We took a little bit of a break from the last one to this one, but that's because this one wasn't out yet. And so we're all going to see it and then cover it. And then after that, we will update you with more of the season as it goes along. But until then, thank you for listening to the Cole will say phenomenal at least 5 times an episode, the podcast, and can't wait to talk to you guys next time. Until then, just keep watching movies and keep saying phenomenal.
Just keep on saying, boy.